Marcus Pozagabi. Opera, that's it. Everybody, yeah, will be a Mr. Bouvier. Sorry for the coming group. We just know what I'm saying. I thought the president. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Harriet Tubman. Yana Lumiara, and so.
We want to thank everyone who came out to be here today. And as usual, you all represent, Cleveland always represents, right? Y'all represent, you know what I mean? Always. Good, all the time. We have been able to, as a result of what the collaborative spirit means to us who work in different vineyards, if you know what I mean. Some of us work in the church, some of us work in the mosque, some of us work in the hood. Some of us have to come in buildings like this and legislate and do things that we need to do to make sure that our self-determination is in a way that will benefit all of us as a people, as citizens here in this city. And one of the things that probably you don't know, let me know if you hear me back there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Cleveland had the first community relations department in the United States of America. So there's a lot of firsts. At the same time, for those of you who are reflecting upon this day of the history and what that means and what we can learn from that and what can we do as a result of that, probably you don't know that the first Holocaust Summit or conference on the history of the Holocaust for Black people in America and on the importance of reparations, the first summit or conference of that nature in the United States of America was right here in Cleveland, Ohio. All right. And it's important, man. Nobody did it before us. That's very important. And at this time, what I want to do is bring up the one who now sits in the seat, very important seat, the Community Relations Department, the City of Cleveland. He's going to bring up some other speakers. I think Bashir is going to say a few words. Bashir and Franny Lewis. She was the one that drafted the reparations statement for the summit that was here. And we call it Ma'afa now. Let me hear you say Ma'afa. We used to call it the Holocaust. We call it Ma'afa. We get in our own language. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up Brother Grady Stevenson, Director of Community Relations. Go ahead and introduce some more people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Collett. Listen, I want to say a couple things before I introduce our mayor. I've had the privilege of being an employee of the city of Cleveland for 30-something years, and a privilege of working on his cabinet for the last 2 years. But in all of that time, I've had also a privilege to witness the celebration of a lot of heritage groups here in the city of Cleveland. We've seen our Irish brothers celebrate here in the Rotunda. We've seen our Hispanic, our Asians. We've seen celebrations of all kinds here in the city of Cleveland, and I've had the opportunity to help host most of those celebrations. I want to say today that this makes me extremely proud to be the Director of Community Relations and have an opportunity to play just a small part in bringing us together so that we celebrate who we are. So I want you to just take a couple minutes. If you want to stand to your feet, you can stand up, but I want you to put your hands together and I want you to give yourselves a great round of applause and celebrate who you are right now. Let's celebrate us. Let's celebrate who we are. Let's celebrate what this day means to us. Come on, brothers and sisters. You can do better than that. Come on and celebrate with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Today begins our Black History Month. And so through this entire month, the Community Relations Department will be putting on celebrations all throughout the month. There's calendars on social media that you can look at and find out what dates and times certain celebrations are going on. But I want to take this moment to thank our Black History Committee, and most of all, where's Shelley at? Thank you, Shelley Shockley, for all the hard work you do to our Black History Committee. I want to thank I have some of our board members that are here today, and I want to thank them: Waverly, Lewis, Ms. Ryan. I'm not sure if our board chair came in or not. I know he said he was going to be here. But I want to thank them. Ms. Ryan, thank you. I want to thank all of you all for supporting me and the Department of Community Relations for what we attempt to do here in the city of Cleveland. And I can only tell you, my brothers and sisters that are here today, this is only the beginning of what we will do here in the city of Cleveland. We will unite our people. We will make us strong. We will be the backbone of this city to do the great thing that we intend to do here in the city of Cleveland. We're going to bring all of us together to make sure that we represent the way that we should. At this time, I want to present to some of you and introduce to others the 56th mayor of the city of Cleveland, Mayor Frank G. Jackson. Let's put our hands together and bless him.
You should be talking to that mic because they won't hear you. You got real close.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And how are you today?
Good.
Good. You know, I want to welcome our guests and our dignitaries to the city of Cleveland. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you honor us for being here. And we are honored that you are here at this ceremony for the raising of the flag and also the kickoff of the African American History Month.
Yes.
You know, history and celebration are very important because if we don't celebrate history, we are like people with amnesia, meaning that we don't know who we are. And a person who does not know who they are can be manipulated in many different ways and never become who they should be. So celebrating history, celebrating the good, the bad, all of what makes us who we are is very important because that way we know who we are, which means we can stand for ourselves and represent ourselves. So again, I welcome you to the city of Cleveland. You honor us for being here, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. This time it is indeed my pleasure to introduce the first Muslim councilman for the city of Cleveland. He's going to speak on behalf of council. So we want to thank council and all of its representatives that are here. I see Councilman Linsick, Councilman Jones, all of the council people that are here. We thank you for being here to celebrate with us today. Councilman Bashir Jones.
It's truly a blessing. First and foremost, we thank the Creator for another day of life. And despite what's going on in our lives, it's a blessing to have life. And the fact that you and I are still here, it means that our purpose has not been fulfilled as of yet, which means that our lives have reason behind it. I want to say thank you so much to our mayor, Mayor Jackson, who is not just talk, but I'm telling you, man, he walks that walk.
Yes.
And there's a difference between equality and equity. And this is what our mayor has been pushing for a long time. And now he has some soldiers in council who are fighting to make sure that that is our reality. You know, there's 3 B's that make our community, that will make our community successful. The first B is books. Books. Can I be truthful with you all today?
Yeah.
Dr. Dunn, can I be, you sure? Now, if I lie to you, it may feel good at first, but in the long run, it's gonna hurt. But if I'm truthful with you, it may pinch at first, but in the long run, it's gonna be okay. To the elders, Queen Lady Gilmore, can I say, okay. The first B is books. If you are depending on a school district to teach your children who they really are, then you are already lost. You're already gone. Why? Because we understand that those who benefit from the oppression will never give you the tools for your freedom.
That's right.
Never. So the education of who your people are, it must happen in the household. Every single day, you must engage your babies and remind them that their history did not begin in 1419.
That's right.
It didn't begin in 1619. It didn't begin on the shores of America. But their history began on the place that is the birthplace of mankind, which is that continent called Africa. You must remind them of that. Let me tell you something. You can't be multicultural until you first love to be black. And I want to say to my brothers and sisters of other cultures, don't even trust someone who ain't willing to fight for their own people. Because if you're not willing to fight for your people, how in the world can they fight for somebody else's people? That's like somebody marching in a domestic violence campaign, but they beat their wife at home. It don't make sense. We are the majority of this city. But at the same time, the poverty that we are experiencing, we are also the majority in that as well. So books. The next B is bucks. We got to have economics. We have to stop fighting each other. You're Muslim, you're Christian, you're this group, you're that group, you're this group, you're that group. What are we doing together? What are we doing together to prepare our future for a great history, for a great future? What are we doing? We're so focused on what makes us different that we're not focused on the majority of things, that the similarities. Malcolm said, they don't care that you're Muslim, and they don't care that you're Christian. They oppress you because you're black. That's what Malcolm said. So the point is that you and I, our similarities is that we want our babies to be successful, don't you? Is that true? Despite what we disagree on, because we're going to disagree sometimes. Matter of fact, if you and your friend agree all the time, somebody lying. So it's okay that we disagree, but we got to stop being disagreeable. You got to stop tearing each other down on social media. Stop talking behind each other's back because you look weak. You look weak in the eyes of those who are trying to oppress you and to keep you from remembering your greatness. Stop fighting each other and recognize that if we come together, we are one Cleveland. That the issues that poor white people are going through is the same issues that we're going through. And the issues that poor Latinos are going through is the same issues we're going through. And if we recognize that if we work together, we can move this city in the direction that it needs to go. The last B, it's a big one right here, is ballots. Ballots. Don't you talk to me about you not voting. I won in Ward 7 off of 13 votes. And I can take you to places in Ward 7 right now that would not be there if I was not in office. Don't you tell me voting don't matter. Donald Trump is a reality that voting matters. Huh? People have died as a result of Donald Trump being in office. Our brothers and sisters who are immigrants who came to this country, who have died on the borders of America because of the policy of Donald Trump. Oh yeah, voting matters. And you got to get out and vote. And don't think for 1 second that just because somebody is black, that means that they have black consciousness, because it's not the truth. Just because somebody looks like you, don't mean that they are of you. You better know that. And when you look at the civil rights movement and the movements of the past, you will find that it was black, white, Muslim, Christians, Jews, everybody on the front line. Black people weren't the only one who was being lynched. So this thing won't change until our white brothers and sisters say, no more. We need for you to say the same thing. It can't be just black people talking about black infant mortality and black poverty. Our white, Italian, Irish brothers and sisters have to also stand up and say that white structural racism is a problem and it's impoverishing our city. But it starts with the ballots. You got to vote. And if you don't vote, we won't be successful. So let me tell you what we're doing here in City Council under the leadership of Mayor Jackson. the progress that you see happening in my ward of Ward 7. You'll see the progress that's happening in Councilman Jones and Councilman Fonlizig ward is a result of great leadership in Mayor Jackson. So what you'll see is in Ward 7, what we're doing in February this month, that we have named Crawford Road off of Huff, Malcolm X Way. Yes. Malcolm X Way. Yes, yes, yes. Why is this important? Because that wasn't the Huff riots. It was the Huff what? Uprising. That's what it was, right? We understand that the Afro Set and Omar Ali Bey and Harlel Jones and Ahmed Evans, these people weren't fighting for something out of nonsense, but they were fighting for something that they believed in. So we want 20 years from now that people know that on Huff wasn't a place that didn't fight for its people. So right now we're working on Huff Avenue being in the historical registry so that the Huff uprising will always be remembered. And Crawford Road, we're turning it into Malcolm X White Way. Why? Because Ahmed Evans, Harlel Jones, and those, they were inspired by people like Malcolm X. Kavasic Recreation Center. Some of you can remember St. Clair Superior and how you couldn't go there. Some of you can remember that you couldn't even walk over there. But now we are turning E.J. Kavasic Recreation Center into Muhammad Ali Recreation Center. Why is this important? Because black, brown, poor, white people need to see themselves. They need to see themselves. So this ain't the time to be afraid. If you find us in the battlefield, you'll find us with arrows in our foreheads and not in our backs. We're running towards it. So my question to you is, what will you do after this day to make this city a better place? Will you put aside, you see what happened to our brother Kobe Bryant. Life is short. And you can have all the money in the world, but you're gonna suffer the same fate as all of us. No matter your position, no matter your money, no matter your fame, we all go into that same place, which is back to God. So the question is, to you, is will you put aside those grudges for the sake of your people? The question for you is, will you put aside those 30-year grudges? I can say this because I'm from this. Brother Khalid Samad and many of you in here, you raised me up in this movement. And some of y'all been having grudges since I was 12 years old. It's time for a change. And if we want to be successful in this city, we will never be successful if we do not unify under one cause, which is our future. May God bless Mayor Frank Jackson. May God bless the city of Cleveland. May God bless you for all the work that you're doing. I love you. Continue to stand with us, guys. Stand with us, because change is not coming, but it's here. God bless you. Thank you.
I just want y'all see this, right? You see this, right? You ain't have no problems. It's from the womb to the tomb, right? All right. Thank you so much. Love you.
Cleveland United, right here at City Hall.
They don't do it like this no other city, I'm telling you. We're gonna try to move fast, and I know there's a lot of excitement here, but there's a few things that we usually do during Black History Month is to kind of deal with what may be some misconceptions about the flag. I'm not gonna explain it, but these colors go all the way back, way beyond the United States of America. In fact, you see, there was we just talked about history. How many people you know, do you know of the wealthiest African that ever walked the planet? What was his name? Anybody know that? Mansa Musa. There's a flag on a camel where Mansa Musa sits, and guess what color the flag is? Red, black, and green. Think about that. We want to bring up Brother Akil to explain a little bit about the flag, the national, all these flags deal with nation building. But we're going to give him an opportunity to say a little bit about the flag from his perspective, and Brother Abdul Gahar will say it, and then we'll have some other things. But for those of you who don't know, these flags are not in competition. They're not in, no collision thing going on. It ain't the red, black, and green versus red, black, black, red, and green, green, red, black. We just flagging, all right? Thank you. Brother Akil.
Thank you, brother. Talking to the mic.
I greet my brothers and sisters in the greeting words of Wa'utsi Salam, which means black peace.
That's right.
All right now.
I'm gonna make this real short because I like to talk.
You gotta talk to your mic.
The flag that I represent is the black, red, and green flag. And my teacher and mentor was Harlell Jones. We call him Prime Minister. The flag, the black is the people, the red is the blood, and the green is land and improvement. A flag represents a nation of people. And I come before you today to let you know something. If you want to be a free people, you got to look at this. First, they gave us emancipation, then they gave us civil rights. And I just want you to know that everybody on this earth is entitled to human rights. It's a God-gifted right. And we as a people, we need to be selfish and start loving ourselves and doing for ourselves. We wonder why our children do the things they do. They do what they do because they don't see no strong black leadership. And I'm gonna use myself as an example. I've been on the planet 64 years. I have 5 beautiful daughters, I have 2 granddaughters, and 1 grandson. I teach my children to love one another. I teach my children to love black people. I teach my children to love themselves. Did you hear what I said? I teach my children to love black people. We don't do that. The brother said something, and I'm gonna piggyback off of it. We as a people, we've got to start looking at ourselves and stop looking at everybody else. Everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do, but we as a people, we're not doing what we really could do. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Right.
The black, red, and green, the flag is a blueprint, and our ancestors are a blueprint of what we need to do to make life better for us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Black power to black people.
Y'all scared to say black power? What's up with that, man? I love myself. Do you love yourself? When you look in the mirror, do you say, I love me? I thank God for how God made me look. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
You told me to Genevieve just pulled up.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We have another flag that will be important to all of us because we're here and it's been a part of the history. As our brother said, that nationalist flag goes kind of goes back a little while. But I'm gonna bring a brother up this time who's been at Cleveland for several years. And you know, there's a price to be paid for this work. That's right. I mean, there was a price that people paid for this work.
That's right.
Many of them went to the grave early in life. Many of them were assassinated.
Right.
Many of them were locked up, drove insane, shot drugs in the arms. Many of them are still political prisoners right now. Y'all know that, right? While we sitting here soaking up this heat and looking at these lights and looking at each other, we have political prisoners that been in prison for over 30, 40, 50 years. Dr. Mutulu what? Shakur. We ain't forgetting that. Imam Jamil what? Alameen. We ain't forgot him. So let's keep in mind the struggle and why it's important. My brother, that I bring up to you today, you may not know he was a political prisoner. You may not know that he was entrapped by the FBI. I'm gonna take it there now, y'all. Y'all ain't scared, are you? You're not scared, are you? Okay, well, because he's in the room with us. A brother who was kidnapped.
That's right.
They tried to kill him. And he's here with us today to explain the importance of the flag. My brother and your brother, Brother Abdul Kahar.
Yes, sir.
First, before we give a salute to the red, the black, and the green, I would like to greet all of you in the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum. One God,
One God.
one aim,
One aim.
one destiny.
One destiny.
Umoja na uhuru, with unity, we should have received freedom.
That's right.
I want to, and Brother Khalid was right, not equal is those who sit at home, equal to those who goes out and fight in the cause of God and humanity. Let me say it again. Not equal are those who sit at home to those who go out and fight in the cause of God and humanity. And Marcus Messiah Garvey was that man. And in 1920, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey gave us the red, the black, and the green. Marcus Garvey said every people need a flag.
That's right.
Flag is important in our lives. When they fix it on the highway, they got a flag. When you're playing football, they got a flag.
Right.
You know, flag is important. America is known for flagging. I'm gonna flag you down.
Come on, teacher.
So we have a flag that represents us. And it's called the red and the black and the green. And I will read what Garvey said. Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Marcus Messiah Garvey. Here to this flag of mine, red, black, and green, hoping the future bright, Ethiopia has seen. Here to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow from it. Historians shall write of it, this great flag of mine. Here to the black of it, 400 million back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, the black, and the green of it, oh flag of mine. Here to the green of it, young men shall dream of it. Face shot and shell for it. Maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here to the whole of it, color bright and bold of it, please of my soul with it, regardless what is told of it, thank God for giving it. Thank God for giving it. Thank God for giving it. Great flag of mine. And when I give, I want everybody to say what I say and throw the fist in the air.
That's right.
To let the racists know we don't care.
That's right, brother.
Let them know we don't care. One God.
One God.
One aim. One destiny. Africa for the Africans. Those at home and those abroad. And let me share this with you. Brothers and sisters, we are brought by our ancestors. If a cat have kittens in the oven, don't make them biscuits. Because you in America, you still in Africa. And we been in the oven here. On the slave ship was hot. In the field it was hot. The whip was hot. We was in the oven. America is hot. And Honorable Marcus Garvey said this, and I want to make it clear and make it plain. Because language has life in it. When Marcus Garvey spoke, the language grew you. When you around somebody cursing and language is bad, it's low you.
That's right.
When you speak, words has got germs in it. Life germs. Somebody tell you I love you, you feel good. And somebody say you an MF, you feel bad.
That's right.
So we must use the language. And Garvey says, a man isn't responsible for his birth. He's responsible for his conduct. His conduct is a result of his mind. When a man thinks and acts, you know who he is by his action.
That's right.
Now, let me make something clear. I don't want to look like a male chauvinist, but man and woman are one. Man means mine, and woman means mine. She the womb of mine. She that brings male and female from her mind. So when we say man, we talking about you too, sister. We talking about a mind. Man means mine, woman means mine. And when the Caucasian come to beat you, that racist, first thing they want to do, hit you in the head.
That's right. Teacher.
Get that head. Get that head. And I want to share this, and this is, I love this one. This is a tribute to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a strong black man with a liberation plan for all Africans. Full of courage and willingness of knowledge, Marcus Garvey was a black walking college. Born in Jamaica, St. Ann Bay. As a young man, he studied both night and day. He learned about the wicked state of affairs, which mistreat black people everywhere. All right now, y'all with me?
Yes.
He was very respected as a young sage when he was only 15 of age. Listened to the voice of an elder man. As a young man, he learned how to use his plan. When he looked at the treatment of the African race, he told the whole world it was a big disgrace. Yes. To have taken African people from their ancient land and then make them a slave here in Babylon. He pledged his life to corrupt these things. So Africa for Africa has a star to sing. He traveled widely in the Western world, teaching black adult boys and girls. In the USA, he struggled for the time with the UNIA, the Black Star Line. I'm not through. Black Star Line.
Yes, yes.
Come on now. The Black Star Line. With the UNIA and the Black Star Line, he held conventions and marches and protests. Black liberation was his project in the honor of Marcus' noble name. Liberation that the African must always proclaim. Arise, you mighty African nation, proclaim your glory, liberation. And closing out, I like to say that Marcus Messiah Garvey, J. Edgar Hoover, with the Bureau of Investigations as a young racist. He said he must stop the black rise of Black Messiah, and out of the Bureau of Investigation came the FBI with counterintelligence to stop the Black Messiah. Marcus Garvey was a Black Messiah. He came here just like Christ, just like Moses. They nailed his hand to the crossroad, like they nailed Christ's hand to the cross. That he couldn't provide and protect himself from his family, that still wouldn't knock Marcus Garvey. They nailed his feet to the crossroad, like they nailed Christ's feet to the crossroad. So he wouldn't stand up like a man and be able to walk. Marcus Garvey. It still was not enough. They took a spear and pierced his side where water and blood ran out his side, where his moral principle in his life ran out his side, where he pierced his heart and hoped that he loses morals, and hoped that his heart is hard-headed, he become jealous and envy to the point he'll kill each other. That still was not enough. He put a crown and crushed it into the head like they did Jesus. The crown of racism, fascism, socialism, all those ism and schism. That still was not enough. They took him down and put him in the tomb prison in New York, the tomb prison in Atlanta, Georgia, Marcus Messiah Garvey. And one day they came to the tomb and they seen the boulder injustice push away from the tomb. And they looked in the tomb and Marcus Garvey was gone. They stepped outside and they looked up. They said, our Father which art in heaven, one God, one aim, one destiny. And Marcus Garvey said, I will come in the whirlwind to revenge, to count the millions of African people who have been murdered. There's so many African people on the slave ship that the shark followed, the shark stopped following because they got full of eating us. The bottom of the ocean looked like a railroad track with the bones of our ancestors. And how can we forget our holy cause? And we still paying a hell of a cost. Let me say again, we don't talk about our holy cause, and we still paying a hell of a cost. 137 shots. My brothers and sisters, nothing but love from the Black Panther Party, from the UNIA, from the Republic of New Africa, from all the brothers and sisters. And I'm just naming the formation that is standing here, giving us security, making sure that we're right. And Marcus Garvey taught us how to wear the uniform, though African Legion didn't play. When they seen Marcus Garvey marching, and we have our uniform, and we stand proudly. one God,
one God,
one aim,
one aim,
one destiny.
one destiny.
Now listen at this, and this is how we're gonna lead. One love. Let's say it again. One love. One heart. One love. One heart. Black power. Black power. Black power.
Asante Sana. This month was set aside after a week was set aside by our brother and scholar, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. He wrote a book called The Miseducation of the Negro. When we were involved in a lot of this work to try to bring all of our cliques, gangs, hoods, formations in the early 90s, when talking to the young brothers and sisters, they didn't know about Carter G. Woodson. They had never heard of J.A. Rogers. They knew nothing about the Nile Valley civilizations. They thought that the people that built the pyramids were white.
That's right.
They didn't know their history. They didn't know their story. They didn't know the knowledge of self. And so consequently, the murder rate kept going up higher and higher and higher because they had convinced themselves, or had been convinced, that what they saw in the mirror was a rare reflection of death and destruction. And Carter G. Woodson said this in his book. He said, if I can control a man or woman's what? Say it louder. I don't have to worry about their what? Their actions. If I can convince a man who's dark-skinned to look into the window of life and look into the mirror of life with his sisters, his brothers, his mothers, his children, his grandchildren, and say that all of them are dark-skinned, because of a curse from God, they are being miseducated.
That's right.
If he believed and she believed that the skin color they had, the very skin color, their hair texture, the breadth of their nose, the fullness of their lips, all of that is a curse from God. You know you've been miseducated.
That's right. That's right.
But it's just not the attitude, it's the action that comes out of there. So how can I look somebody who's a mere reflection of myself, about the same height, the same weight, the same color, and I pull out a gun and pull the trigger because all I want to kill is a black man? So Carter G. Woodson was ahead of his time. He said, yeah, miseducation is the problem. Misinformation, misguidance leads to mistakes. And if you make mistakes and you're misguided and miseducated over and over and over again, it sometimes becomes a dis-ease of death.
Yes, sir.
And the only way you can deal with that, if you've been miseducated, you got to be re-educated. If you've been misinformed, you got to be re-informed. All of those things have to be done after you tear down all the miseducation. You go from what? Education to excellence, as our brother said earlier. So I'm going to bring up not Dr. Carter G. Woodson, but one of the doctors in the house. He's a dentist, and he loves the work that he does. And he'll kind of share with you a little bit about the importance of this month. The author of this month, there was a week. It used to be what? Black History Week. Wouldn't give you a whole month, just give you a week. My brother and your brother, Dr. Joy. Okay. All right, we change the schedules, no problem. We're flexible. I'm going to bring up this brother who will personify a lot of the work that's been done recently as it relates to the UNIA. We go back a few years. You know him as a football player, Cleo, what? Miller. Yeah, I mean, you can answer these questions without me, carrying all the way out. Brother's just not an athlete, family man, a historian, done a lot. He's put a lot of work in to reestablish this organization. So without further ado, I'm going to bring your brother, my brother up, President Cleo Miller of the UNIA. And he's going to introduce some of the other dignitaries that are with us this afternoon. Thank you very much. Dr. Cleo Winner. Okay.
First of all, I'd like to say greetings to everyone who's come out today and taken a part of this festivities. It is something that is very timely. It is something that we need to do more of, and to actually get the experience and understand and know what the red, black, green flag is about, as well as the history and tradition of the UNIA and the red, black, and green flag in Cleveland. But before I move forward, I have two young people here who's going to introduce our royalty here. Thank you.
Queen. Please talk into the microphone because we can't hear you in the back. Please.
I am Queen Mami Obatiola, and I am here to introduce our monarch.
Excuse me, let me get this up a little bit
Can't
further.
take it out. Can't take it out.
Can't take that.
You don't want it out?
He said you should take that.
So right into it.
And I am here to introduce our monarch, Adeolomo Vidaho Oshunsi I. We are Nakremo, the North American African Cultural Restoration Monarchy. We are the only royal family living here in Cleveland representing Benin, West Africa. Our monarch, Vidaho Oshunsi Adeolomo I.
My name is Papa Ewusidonko. You can call me Francis. I'm here to introduce dignitaries that traveled all the way from Africa, Ghana, to grace this occasion. I have the singular honor of introducing Prophet Ahmed, who came to support our kings. First of all, I'd like to introduce the king of Apeja. His name is King Nana Ogbokese Ampa. King Nana Ogbokese Ampa is the Apejahene of Asebu traditional area. King Nana Ogbokese Ampa is the CEO of the Asebu Pan-African Village. He serves His Majesty that I'm going to introduce next. The next king, that is King Nana Ogbokese Ampa. Please give it up. Give it up. Give it up to him. Traveled all the way from Ghana to grace this occasion. And we have brought you His Majesty, the ruler of the Kingdom of Asebu, all the way from Africa, West Africa, Ghana, Central region. He is His Royal Majesty, Dr. Oketechi Amenfi VII. Dr. Oketechi Amenfi VII is the ruler of the Asebu Kingdom. And those of you who have heard about the king in Ghana who has dedicated 5,000 acres of land to our brothers and sisters here in the diaspora, inviting them to come home, not just to come visit, but to come reside. That is the king. That is the king that has dedicated 5,000 acres. So please be upstanding and give it up to this king. 5,000 acres of land. His Royal Majesty, Dr. Oketechi Amenfi VII. Dr. Oketechi Amenfi VII is a professor. He teaches planning management at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So he's not just a royal, but he's a scholar as well. He's traveled all the way with his subject, that includes me, from Ghana to come and witness the raising of the flag on this very special day as we commemorate a month of celebration for Black History Month. So, Wakatechi, all these here, I believe, are your subjects, and all those of us who are here, this is our king that came all the way from, our kings that came all the way from Africa, Asebu, to come and grace this occasion. Thank you very much.
Let's give them another hand of applause. And while we have many people here to talk today, and I'll be very brief, this being Black History Month, there is some history also that you need to be aware of. Cleveland is the first government municipality to fly the red, black, and green flag over City Hall. Followed by East Cleveland. The flag used to fly 2 times a year during the month of Black History Month in February, and then in August during the birthday of the flag. So we want you to understand and know that. Also, Cleveland has another rich tradition in history. There are 4 of the President Generals of the University Negro Improvement Association has come from Cleveland, Ohio. So we want you to understand and know that too. Cleveland has a rich tradition and a history. And this is about bringing all our people together. One organization can't do it. Marcus Garvey was the founder of the greatest organization. That organization blended all of us with one drop of black blood together to be brotherhoods. We have these kings coming from Africa. They're coming here for a purpose and a reason. And that reason is to unite the 5 regions of Africa with the 6 regions, which is North America. They're not asking you to come there and rule or demand or tell them things what to do. They're asking each and every one of us to get to know each other, work hand in hand. They have the mineral riches, we have the knowledge, and we work together as a collective group of people worldwide. There's nothing we can do. That flag unites us and gives us a flag when all other rest of the people around the world had a flag, we didn't have it. That red, black, green flag symbolized that. So again, we appreciate you being here. That you're inviting the kings and stuff, and we're part of the program today. And we're looking forward to do a lot of great things within the community, working with the city of Cleveland, working with the council people, working with groups and stuff to come together and make Cleveland a greater place. Thank you.
Great welcome to the city of Cleveland, state of Ohio. I am your brother, Nate Simpson, the founder, CEO of Black Votes Matters Today. And I am also one of the constituents that helped bridge the many bodies that you see fellowshipped in this one united union for the benefit of the black, red, and green, the red, black, and green flag. It is my honor to be among you right now to also mention that we have our Cleveland chapter president, Mr. Darrell Williams, also of the UNIA. We also have the Archbishop of the Worldwide Anglican Church Worldwide, Archbishop Christine Johnson, as well. We would be remiss to not make a definitive that we have a mayor that has greeted us and welcomed us in this great rotunda, historical rotunda, for this monumental moment. There are many things that I can say, but I just want you to just embrace this one thought. Each of us probably could find a child that is roaming around here right now. And if we really thought enough, we would remember that that child was once us. That's something to ponder within itself. As I look at these children, I remember that that was once me. And even though they may not grab the full gravity of what is in front of them right now and what they are participating in right now, it is bestowed upon you to educate, to teach, to elevate their spirits with knowledge and wisdom of this great moment. We also have one of our procure managers of our great history, Lady Francine Caldwell of the African American History Museum in our presence today. We also have Brother Art McCoy in our presence today. Many of you know Brother Bill Richards, Silver B, is in our presence today. I could go on with the list, but please forgive me. I'd just like to say once again, can we say together, one love, one love, one love. Thank you kindly.
Love you. All right. One God, one hood, one love, one destiny. That was another affirmation. I'm going to bring up a sister that really needs no introduction. We're talking about Black history, and this is February, so it would only make common sense to bring up somebody who's responsible for the operations of the only Black history museum in the city of Cleveland. My sister and your sister, also my cousin, don't take it the wrong way, not Crip cuz, Frances Caldwell has dedicated a lot of her life to the institution, and actually is in Bashir's ward. And there's a lot of things that have gone into that museum, and we want to make sure that it stays active, that you get your membership, and we help take it to the next level. My sister and your sister, Sister Francine Caldwell. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
There you go, talk loud.
I just want to invite everyone, starting February 8th, to the African American Museum. We are going to have a series of speakers, starting on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and then at the end, on the 29th, we'll have a gala to recognize some of the board members at the museum. So I'm inviting everyone to come. I don't have any flyers with me, but you can call. Our number is 216-721-6555.
Do it again.
216-721-6555. This is my producer behind me. And starting on Monday, we will have information on our website. On our voicemail. So starting on the 8th, we'll have several speakers. Each week we'll have 2 different speakers talking about different subjects to engage the community. And also we have a few flyers over there for the gala. I have one up here, but Brother Jamil over there has a few. So thank you.
What's the gala for? I just want to reiterate some of the things that she said. Y'all have heard it all. But the African American Museum, I call it the African Museum, guess who it belongs to? Guess. It belongs to you. And if you don't put in, you won't get out. You can't go there and say, hey, wow, there ain't nothing going on here. That's because you ain't put yours in. So they need membership. I'm a member. That's why I'm up here standing right now. You be a member, so you can stand up here and talk about your museum like I'm doing, all right? She's shy. She really didn't want to come up here, but she has to come up here. She's been working hard. Give her some love, y'all. Come on, give her some love. So please support the African American Museum, y'all.
Thank you.
Wait. Remember, she's here. Catch up with her. Don't cost much. You'll be a member.
And she's a queen. Give her a round of applause, y'all. Give her. Highway Blues.
Asante Sana. Two things. One is, as you all know, we have a lot of friends that we operate here in the greater Cleveland area, and someone who's been a stalwart in the work, I'm gonna bring this person up, is an institution called CMHA, Cleveland Housing Authority. Very important work that's being done by Brother Patterson there, and trying to keep this movement going to make affordable housing for our people, our citizens. As was said earlier, that's part of the story. On that note, and in that spirit, there is about 2 van loads of food that will be showing up here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And we are on a time frame now, but at the same time, there's no way you can leave out of here and leave that food in those vans. So they're on the way back. They'll be here any minute now. And those of you who are with us that are part of the formations, you know what we'll need to do to go out and get that food, bring it in, get it on the tables, and do what we need done to make sure that we don't waste food, because that would be on our whole soul. That'll take away from the spirituality. So we got a couple people that we're going to bring on, but one that's very important to us is Sister Honeybell Bay. How many of you are familiar with our sister? I'm going to bring her up now. We've been working together for years, coming out of the Huff area, all the way up to the Heights. She brings with you a message through the young men in her group called Distinguished Gentlemen. The young brother thought I was talking about them when I said voices from the valley, but that's some more voices coming up out of the hood. That's all good. My sister and your sister, Sister Honeybell Bay, a scholar, an activist, a mother, a sister, a revolutionary. Bring it on.
I bring you greetings from the distinguished gentlemen of spoken word. We can all gather like this, but if we forget our young people, if we forget the young men who are lined in the center, there is an institution that's waiting for them. There's an institution that we put more money in than we put into schools. And so I'm going to yield my time to this young man who's standing right next to me.
Right, brother. Come on, man, what's up?
Greetings, everybody.
Say God is great, God
is good. Assalamu alaikum. I'm so glad to be here amongst my people. My name is Caillou Allen, and I'm very glad to be here. Like I said, I'm very glad to see everybody, my black brothers and sisters here at this very important occurrence. The raising of the Pan-African flag. 2020 is a novel time. We are in a new year, a new decade, and a new reality. This year has already seen how different things are now compared to the past. There are new attitudes, new beliefs, and new motivations, especially in the black community. There is a new faith that we shall overcome our oppressions, whoever and whatever they may be. There is a new sort of Negro rising. This is a special type of Negro. In many shades, he is the modern Negro. In intellect, he is being blessed with the wits to outsmart his oppressors, to turn their hatred against them. He sees through the trap set for him, like the school to prison pipeline, mass incarceration, gentrification, and instead pursues his self-education. He refuses the poisonous spoon of the white man's education, for he knows that it will brainwash him and his entire family. He is what W.E.B. Du Bois described as the talented 10th. He understands that he's being gifted with his intelligence and that he must share it with his black brethren. This is also known as the most dangerous type of Negro, because he works silently under the guise of the white supremacists' expectations of him. Yet in reality, he is the spook who sat by the door. He trains a deadly cadre of educated Negroes just like himself. They don't know he's coming, for when they see him exit those college doors, the power structure quakes in their seats. They see that this black brother has the power to destroy their superiority complex. He unites his people. He educates himself. He avoids the surrounding madness of white supremacy. For the white supremacists don't even know how to attack this man. He is unfazed by words, will fight hard with the law book, and isn't afraid to defend his self-dignity. For it is self-dignity that drives this Negro. No man can shake it, and to the death, this Negro will fight for it. He refuses to have it stripped away by the menaces of police brutality, which defaces the black body to the most demeaning degree. He will not have it stripped away by rising housing costs in his own black neighborhood, which soon displaces him. He will not have it stripped away by the envious white school teachers who say he ain't worth a dime. No, he perseveres. He says to himself, no, I'm gonna fight through and I'm gonna fight hard for what I believe in. Because if a man hasn't discovered something that he is willing to die for, then he isn't fit to live. And he says these words every time somebody tries to discredit his belief. This Negro is a leader amongst all circles he walks. He is the paragon of black excellence wherever he goes. He leads by example, by his mind, which knows. You may think he is oppressed by his circumstances, or maybe even his skin, but to himself, he is more than free. This is a special Negro who knows the weight of the black flag. Millions and millions of black, free souls. This is the unoppressed Negro. Right. Thank you. Thank you.
I will not accept being left
So, people of Cleveland, you have your kins from Africa bidding you farewell, saying goodbye. As I said, they brought you greetings all the way from the motherland, Africa, Ghana, His Majesty Okatechi Amenfi VII, and His Highness Nana Obokese Ampa I, all of Asebu traditional area. Please give it up to our kings who came all the way from Africa. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Those of you who have not taken that trip to the motherland, those of you who have not taken the trip to the motherland, last year was the year of return. This year is beyond the return. Please make that trip to Africa. Please make that trip to Ghana. Please make that trip. And any of you who are interested or who is interested in the land that the king has dedicated, 5,000 acres that he has dedicated for our brothers and sisters here in the diaspora, you can see me, you can take my contact, and then you can connect with me. Or you can just visit www.asebupanafricanvillage.com. www.asebupanafricanvillage.com, or you can see me and then you can take my contact. As I said, the king came all the way to honor this event. Thank you very much. Greetings from the people of Asebu traditional area. God richly bless you.
I'm going to bring up a brother who's known for many years. He really needs no introduction. Many of you know him as Brother Bob. Some of you know him as Mr. Sappho. Some of you know him as the stepfather of our Congresswoman Marsha Fudge. My brother and your brother, Brother Bob Sappho. I come to you with a heavy heart because I grieve for the trials and the tribulations that our forefathers and even our current fathers, and maybe those even yet born, have had to go through these some 400 years. But prior to that, we called hell anyway. So it might have been a blessing before God and man for us to be brought from the other continent to this one. I really truly believe this is the promised land, and that's why it's here. But that promise has not been fulfilled because we have not made that or determined that to be our focus, our aim, and our objective. By virtue of the crowd that I hear today, I believe all of us are believers. We believe in the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. That's my mantra. And I'm hoping and praying that we continue these kind of efforts to inform our folks as to who we are, where we've been, then we can anticipate where we're going. I'm the former Human Relations Director of Trumbull County, Ohio, where I was raised at, but I was born in Alabama. My family moved to Ohio in 1945. My daddy came as a steel worker, but he come not looking for a job, he came for health reasons. And he was one of 5 sons, I'm one of 5 sons. All 5 of us served in the military. My oldest brother served in the United States Army, got 2 Purple Hearts in Korea in the late 1970s, actually the late 50s, early 60s. My younger brother, after him, was an Air Force man. Okay, I served in the Marine Corps. My younger brother, who just went on to be with the Lord last week, he served in the Army for 3 years, primarily in Hawaii. My baby brother served in ROTC. That's the Army, and he was in college. So we've got an investment in this nation and in this world. And we continue to demand restitution for that. And I think we all need to do the same thing. Some of us who may not have served, we had friends, fathers, uncles, aunts, someone we know who paid a price, some with their death, so that we might have the opportunity to gather in a place like this. This is God's house. It's our house. It doesn't belong to anybody else but us. But we are all one people.
Again, I'm proud to be here. I'd like to say one more thing before I give up this mic. I met Khalid some 25, 30 years ago when he was a youngster, before he knew who Allah, God was. And I've seen him grow and mature and become the kind of young man I would envision a son of mine could become. Dr. George, the other brother who's up here sharing the diocese with us. I've known Doc maybe before I met Khalid. Doc has been a contributor to our society because he's a medicine man. He was a dentist, and he made people's face look smile, but he made them look good. But he and his daughter especially have contributed to this Northeast Ohio tremendously, not only in the medical field, but in civil rights. And this is one of my young sons back here. We all know him. We would not have maybe an 11 Congressional Caucus if it wasn't people like him who came under tutors of people like Congressman Stokes. And he was always led the celebration in terms of the entertainment field. But he did more than entertain, he educated. And this is why I see this August buddy here doing today. Not only you listen to song and administering, but you're being educated. And we have to also continue to educate one another. Good afternoon. God bless you until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum.
One more distinguished gentleman. Encore.
Wear the mask that brings the light. It hides our cheeks and shades around. This that we pay to humankind with joy, and bleeding hearts. We smile. And now the mere 17. Why should the world be overwhelmed and come to all our tears and sighs? Let them only see us while we smile, but oh, great Christ, our crowns to thee from tortured souls. Oh God, we sing, but oh, the clay lies beneath our feet and the long. But let the world be
All right, show them some love.